Teague.
And I'm Sam.
And we are your well-informed girlfriends.
Bringing you today's news, gossip, and unsolicited hot takes. This week, we're talking about how the conflict in Iran could impact us here at home, why everyone is updating their terms of service, and how incel language has gone mainstream.
Updating the terms of service is crazy.
Yeah,
How many emails can we
so
get
many
about it?
Emails.
We'll also be talking about looksmaxxing, which is very interesting. Also, AI dating cafes. That's right. People are going to cafes with their AI companions. And then we're also talking about a new dating term called ghostlighting.
The horrors persist.
Fun.
Yeah.
All that and so much more on this week's episode. Okay, Sam, you're going to start us off with the heavy stuff.
Yeah, we're starting today with the rapidly escalating conflict between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. You're probably aware that the U.S. and Israeli forces launched Operation Epic Fury, a coordinated military campaign this weekend targeting hundreds of Iranian military and leadership sites, including military bases and command centers. The strikes have reportedly already killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and multiple senior Iranian officials. Tehran has launched, as you might have guessed, missile and drone counterattacks against the U.S. and Israeli positions across the region on Sunday. The Pentagon confirmed 3 service members so far have died, but didn't say exactly where.
Okay.
5 other U.S. service members have been seriously wounded, and several had shrapnel injuries. President Trump said this in a Truth Social post that there could be more casualties.
3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case.
So those strikes actually follow months of increasing high tensions, failed nuclear negotiations, and mounting sanctions pressure. There were also, you probably remember this, massive anti-government protests inside Iran that the Iranian regime then cracked down on using deadly force and internet blackouts.
Right. I remember that. That was crazy.
So I think the hope here is that Trump has said is that he hopes the Iranian people will rise up and overthrow this regime. But so far, we haven't gotten like a clear plan for that from the Trump administration.
Yeah.
So you might be wondering, can Trump just invade Iran without Congress? And technically, according to the Constitution, only Congress can declare war, but presidents actually launch strikes first under those commander-in-chief powers, arguing that there's an imminent threat. The White House says that's what this was, but they haven't clearly explained what the threat actually was and the things that they've said about how Iran is close to having a nuclear weapon and that sort of thing has been unverified. And so, yes, a president can act first and fast, but whether this is justified is actually up for debate and has triggered a deep political fight on Capitol Hill. Okay, so I'm almost done. Let's zoom out and talk about what everyone might be quietly wondering in the Iran situation. What does this mean for us here at home in the U.S.? First up, gas prices. Iran is a major producer of oil, and any conflict in the region, especially near the Strait of Hormuz, where like 20% of the world's oil passes through, can send global prices up really fast. Doesn't mean your gas is going to go to $7 tomorrow, but markets react to instability, so we might start to see that pretty quickly if this continues. Second is cyber attacks. Iran has like a long history of retaliatory cyber attacks against the US, banks, infrastructure, government systems, and all of the above. That doesn't mean, the electrical grid is going to go down or anything like that, but cybersecurity officials will be on alert for that. So just considering the economic ripple effect, how inflation could affect interest rates. Suddenly, we're all talking about this at the kitchen table.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. It is
know.
crazy. It's just like so wild. I was up on Saturday night when this all like happened online, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And you're just like the news rolling in. So
I was literally in line to get a drink at a bar, and I was like, what? It was like a very
happening?
chaotic place to read the news.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so now we have to talk about this thing that we briefly touched on at the top, but like everyone is updating their terms of service. What is that about?
I know. I'm like, how many emails can you physically send me?
Literally, it's insane. So as you've noticed, as I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, we keep getting these emails and these updates from all these companies talking about them updating their terms of service and privacy policies. And it's, of course, not random. One very big reason is changes in how companies handle our data, so user data, especially with the rise of AI and this machine learning world that we're living in. Many platforms want to clarify or expand how they can use our personal data to improve AI systems. So that is what's happening. But basically, the FTC is the reason that they had to send out all of these updates of service memos, essentially.
Ah, that
You
makes
can't
sense.
just like unfairly like start gathering data and using it in a different way. You do have to announce to your the users that you are going to be using their data in a little bit of a different way. And if they want to make adjustments to how you are using their data, they should have that option. So that's why they are sending out all of these emails. We're getting all of these, updates. One very specific example, TikTok, because of their new, and not because of their new ownership, but kind of in correlation with their new ownership, updated their privacy policy now. And it includes expanded data collection, including, and this I hate, precise location data.
Mm,
Yeah. So that
spooky.
is following changes to its US ownership structure. So now when you're using the app, if you don't turn off, there is an option to turn it off, by the way. You can go into your settings and turn off include precise location data,
Mm.
but I think essentially when you do the update, it will automatically toggle you to being in this so, and it's not really that big of a deal. Our phones obviously have our precise location most of the time anyways,
Yeah.
but to think about another person having it like an app is a little bit freaky to me. But there's another platform we all know, WhatsApp. They updated their terms to restrict certain third-party chatbots.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, partly to comply with evolving regulations in the EU and other regions. So
Mm.
WhatsApp's used like pretty much in Europe. I feel like all my European friends will be like, "Oh, do you have WhatsApp?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, I think I don't know why we don't really use it that much domestically, but
Yeah.
my Indian in-laws and that side of the family
It's
in
hot.
Asia and all that, they're all using WhatsApp all the
Yeah,
time.
WhatsApp's hot over there. I'll tell you that. It's kind of nice because it works on Wi-Fi. But anyways,
Yeah.
so this is all very interesting. In short, these tech companies have updated their terms of service essentially to update and adapt to new laws, handle evolving technologies like AI,
Mm.
and to try and prevent legal trouble. But these changes often go over users' heads because they're buried in these long,
Oh, yeah.
long emails and texts. Like no one's reading an updated terms of service.
No, for sure.
But I do think it's interesting when you get the email to just kind of look through and be like, what are you using my data for and whatever. And I'm getting emails from GoDaddy. I'm like, I don't use GoDaddy anymore. So I went into my GoDaddy account and I deleted it. I'm like, you don't need my data.
Yeah.
Stop. I don't need your updated terms of service. We're done here. Okay. So I think it's worth looking at who is sending you these updated terms and being like, I don't need to be talking to you anymore.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
know?
just delete your data. And
I mean, they're not going to delete it, by the
not.
way. It's definitely with them forever, but at least you can stop providing your data.
Yeah. And honestly, even just hitting unsubscribe is actually better for the environment. Fun fact. Because
Yes.
it uses less, power
No,
to send
absolutely.
out the auto emails.
They say that when your inbox is full, you're it's there's a huge carbon footprint to emails, which I always thought was very shocking. But when you delete emails, it's better for the environment.
So fun fact.
The more you know.
Jinx.
Duh. Okay, this next story.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I read this story in Wired this week and I was so fascinated. I just had to talk about it here.
Okay, what is it?
So evidently a lot of the slang we see online actually spawned from incel culture.
What?
Let me explain. So Wired wrote this up this week about this lifestyle trend called friction maxing, meaning that adding small inconveniences back into your life to counter apps and AI have recently popped up in mainstream media. But the whole suffix of maxing, you know what I mean? Adding maxing to a word that you keep hearing us talk about on this pod and everywhere else isn't actually from the wellness community or anywhere you might think it was from. It likely comes from incel forums or communities of so-called involuntary celibate men.
Mm-hmm.
Their looksmaxxing meant aggressively optimizing your appearance to get sex, borrowing from gaming's min-maxing, or maximizing your strengths and minimizing weaknesses.
Okay.
Isn't that fun? Well, I don't know if it's
What's
fun, but it's it's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
And I think the whole concept of looksmaxxing has really picked up pace this in like the last couple weeks. I've been seeing looksmaxxing everywhere.
Yeah, looksmaxxing is I actually, before we get into looksmaxxing, I want to go back to this friction maxing. I do think this is really interesting, especially because our lives have become so easy now.
Yes.
I actually think a little friction maxing, adding a little inconvenience to your life, I do think is helpful because it makes you kind of like work for something.
For
Like
sure.
I'm actually kind of down to like take the long way or do whatever just because I want to like engage my brain and challenge myself because we're just not doing as much as we used to, right? Like we're
Oh
not
my
chopping
gosh.
firewood anymore, And
For
it's
sure.
like I think we need to add a little bit of inconvenience because if you don't, when things are too easy, things get so boring. To
Oh
me
my
at least. It's like
gosh.
life is dull.
It
But
is.
we're so lucky. Like I
We are
have to
so
say,
lucky to have that. Like I
we're
rolled
privileged,
out of
of
bed today
course.
at 10 a.m. and I literally ordered bagels for delivery. Like, Sam, just go get the bagels. Are you serious?
Right.
And at one point my husband goes, our lives are too soft.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually think you guys need some friction maxing.
Yeah, I know. And so we walked to get a coffee. There you go.
Nice.
And
you win some. And that's good. Okay, so now we
dual
should
income,
talk.
no kids energy.
Yeah, it's incredible. Looksmaxxing is something we did want to talk about this week anyways.
Yes. Tell us about looksmaxxing.
Okay, so looksmaxxing, and you did touch on it, but basically it's this whole thing about guys are basically putting a lot more effort into their appearance, and it's not just like it can be like skincare and Botox, which we've talked about on the podcast before, when men are getting like these little tweaks and enhancements.
Mhm.
It's some of these guys are like going to extremes. Like there are
Yes.
extreme examples of looksmaxxing online, like jaw and chin alteration procedures,
Mm.
bone smashing. Can you believe?
What are they? What bones are they smashing?
They are smashing bones, and it is not clear which ones.
Oh, they're facial bones to
If they're
make them,
facial
quote,
bones.
grow back stronger.
Yep, and I don't understand that. I've never heard that.
I've never heard
Is that
that
a thing
either.
you could
That's
grow
crazy.
back a stronger bone? And why do you want a stronger bone in your face?
Also, have you ever broken anything? It's like always worse after you've broken
Yeah.
it. I broke an ankle like 6 years ago, and that still hurts sometimes.
Yeah, weird. And like all these guys are really obsessed with peptides online. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have seen the peptides.
And you know what? I'm so close to getting on peptides. I'm so close. I'm actually
my
like a few
God.
clicks away. Like I have a few in a cart.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll
Yeah.
have to report back if they do anything.
I'm probably
for
gonna
you.
do it. Maybe I'm looksmaxxing at this point.
I think
girls are always
girls have always been
looksmaxxing.
looksmaxxing. I know. I
Yeah.
think this is like a hilarious gender bias because, like,
yeah.
I mean, we're not bone smashing, obviously, but like women have been
no.
removing ribs to look thinner for like hundreds of years, like literally. So I don't know. To some degree, we have been looksmaxing.
That's so true.
Similarly toxically as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do think that's really interesting. And also just like it's kind of fun that the guys are like getting involved in all the fun stuff, but it's also like, do we need to can we all just calm down?
I know.
You know?
Everyone just take a beat. You're chilling. We're chilling. We're all looking
We're
good.
chilling,
It's
I
fine.
guess. Yeah. Okay, this next story I thought was absolutely insane.
Oh my God.
So there's a new app that is basically bringing people who are in relationships with AI companions together in the real world. But you might be asking, how could you do that? Because if it's an AI companion, that means it's a digital companion, right? Yeah, you're right. They are bringing, this is how this is set up. They're bringing like into a restaurant, people are coming, and then they're setting up screens on tripods across a dinner table for them to have dinner with their AI companion. Yeah. And some of these people are saying, oh, it's just my AI BFF and we're having dinner and drinks together, but like not really because first of all, cheap date.
Only one of you can eat and drink. So,
Right,
you know
so-
what? Half the cost.
Yeah, not the worst thing I've ever heard. But isn't this crazy and like apocalyptic? You're like, wait, what? You're taking your computer, popping it up at a restaurant and having dinner. And some of these people are in romantic relationships with these AI companions. So
Wait, so are they wearing headphones or are they just talking to their computer like aloud? Or
I think that, I don't know. Company representatives said that the goal here was basically to reduce the stigma around AI companion relationships. So they emphasized that this app, Ava AI, is not designed to replace human partners, but instead they position it as support for people who feel lonely or who want a low-pressure way to build confidence. Still, seeing rows of candlelit dinners with screens instead of people does make things feel a little weird.
That is a little weird. I don't love that.
Yeah.
You know what? I should have put this in the pod. I did
Yeah.
see another similar story this week about a woman who like fell in love with a cartoon character
Uh-huh.
and then trained an AI to talk as though it was the cartoon character. And now
Wow.
she's just like in a relationship with the cartoon character via AI.
Yeah.
And like even hires a cosplayer to play this cartoon character so they can go on IRL dates.
Wow.
And I was just like, I don't know what to do with that.
It's
what
weird
do we do with
because
this?
and like there's so many different ways you can take this conversation. I do
Yeah.
think first of all, like I do think some AI companionship and like some kids who are having trouble maybe socializing or like making friends, like for a child in a developmental stage in their life to like have some sort of resource in AI and have
Yeah.
somebody to talk to and listen to them and like bounce the ideas off. Like I think that's like very helpful and stuff. I think it's a slippery slope when you start relying on AI companions and relationships as like your main source of
Yeah.
interaction, right? Because
for
then
sure.
it's like you lose that piece of like human interaction. So I don't know.
Well, and AIs are so like sycophantic that I
Yeah.
think you would forget that your friends will hold you accountable versus
Yeah.
AI who's like, great question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent point, Sam. You
Yeah.
were definitely right in this argument or whatever
Yeah.
it's saying.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
will
real
say-
boyfriend's going to yell at you.
Yeah. I will say it has really talked me off the wall several times recently that I was like, wow, this is a good therapist. And I've never really I've really never leaned on AI in that way.
Mm.
I'm more like, does this email sound okay? But like recently I've been like, hey, like this is, I'm stressed about this thing, whatever. And then they're like, oh no, here's why you shouldn't be. I'm like, wait, I kind of love this.
Yeah.
So for some reason, but I'm still not like compelled enough to go, I do love my chatty girl, but I'm not going to take her on a date and we're not going to sit across from each other. Like, what do I really have to talk to you about? No offense.
You, I guess.
I guess just me.
So maybe it's like the experience that like the worst guys have been having this whole time where they just talk about themselves
Right.
at every date. Now
Yeah.
that's why we're dating the chatbots so we can get that experience.
Yeah, and the
Just like-
chatbots are going to start going against us and being like, they're so annoying. They're obsessed with themselves. They don't even ask me how my day went.
Exactly.
Messed
They're going to post
up.
about us on their social media website that we talked about last week.
Yes, Molt book. Oh my
Molt
gosh.
book. Oh
Don't
my
get me
God.
started.
No.
Okay, well, another AI story. It's like, is this an AI podcast?
Is this a podcast about AI? I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay, so I did want to talk about this because I thought it was really interesting and I feel like
Okay.
you'll have thoughts.
Yeah.
Is Gucci using AI making Gucci look cheap? The brand actually dropped these AI-generated images ahead of its Milan Fashion Week show, featuring glamorous fur coats, hyper-polished car scenes, even some models that kind of looked like Grand Theft Auto. But the only catch was that it was made with AI.
Okay.
People immediately started slamming them online, calling it AI slop, and saying that it cheapened a fashion house built on craftsmanship. Gucci hasn't commented, but branding experts say it might be less about cutting costs and more about signaling that creative futurism,
Mhm.
positioning the brand to be at the intersection of fashion and tech. And that's probably worth noting because Gucci's revenue has been down. It's down 22% last year.
That's interesting. I do think when brands start to like heavily rely on AI, it's kind of lame. Like when Pepsi had that whole like snowball ad during
yeah.
Christmas that was all AI. It's like, that's so lame. Like we have so many talented people out there that
Yeah.
are like creative or, want to work in that space or whatever and like make things. And I
Yeah.
think it's a bummer when you just rely on AI to do that for you. And I think it just like takes the human, piece out of it where it just doesn't feel as resonant. Like I'm not looking at a Pepsi polar bear and being like, ooh, cute. I'm kind of like, that's gross. That's AI. Like, why are we doing this?
Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
So I do think it's interesting. Look, I also think like I haven't seen this. I don't know what these ads look like, but I think this is another hot take I have. Luxury brands, I feel like recently have looked fake to me. Like, I don't know if you've
Forever?
experienced this.
Yeah.
Well, like in the past like 10 years, Gucci specifically. Okay, now I'm looking at it. That's AI?
Yeah.
Oh, that's upsetting. That looks real.
I know, right? Isn't that such a
Uh-oh.
bummer?
I'm getting tricked every day of my life. And if I'm getting tricked, my parents are surely tricked.
It's okay. I'll totally cop to this. I didn't realize the Pepsi bears were AI.
Yeah, they were. Well,
So-
how did you not? They're like panda bears like dancing around.
Well, Oh, I was thinking it was
Polar
the
bears.
polar bears.
Polar bears.
Oh, I just thought it was like an animation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I didn't know a computer made the whole animation. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty crazy. But I think like luxury brands the past few years have kind of looked like fake because I think there is so many fakes now
Yeah.
that it's like I look at like a Gucci and I'm like, that looks like a fake Gucci and it's like the real one in the store, I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah.
And or like Gucci clothes, I'm like, that looks like a fake Gucci sweater, but it's in the store.
Yeah, anything with a Gucci logo, I'm like, that's surely fake, but then it's like not.
It's not. But I do love Gucci. Gucci's one of my favorite ones. Like I
Yeah.
do like Louis Vuitton, like if I'm like, dreaming, but I think Gucci's like a fun one. I do like the brand. But recently,
sure.
like looking at like a Valentino thing, I'm like, that's all fake. It's not. It's like they're like making their stuff to look, I don't know. I gotta stop. I gotta get off my soapbox, but that's how I feel. It's interesting.
Okay, what's this next story about?
Okay, this next story I think is very interesting. So if you are exhausted after doing nothing all weekend, there actually may be a reason for that.
Oh.
Yeah. So Harvard researchers proved recently that active rest actually increases energy by 420%. Now, active rest does not mean laying down, taking a nap. Active rest means things like hiking, getting outside,
Sure.
going on walks, doing a puzzle to engage your brain, something like that. That's active rest, opposed to what we do now in the modern days, which is like looking at our phone, streaming all the shows,
Yeah.
doing all of the things and like we're just like
Looking at a big screen or a little screen.
Yeah.
Or sometimes at the same time.
Yep, most of the time for 2 screens times. But basically, so they talked about how Greek philosophers back in the day practiced something called shoal,
Ooh.
which was leisure through intense activity, not passive rest. So passive rest, think about, like things kind of we do now. That's like what modern people do. It's like we're like laying down and I'm thinking that I'm relaxing, but truly that actually kind of like increases your fatigue and stresses your body out because it's like, what am I doing? I have nothing going on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting. So brain scans show that these passive activities like TV stimulate that fatigue circuit.
Oh, so you're getting more fatigued as
Yeah.
you're watching television.
Right,
As though
exactly.
you're at work or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, what is going on here? And your nervous system registers stillness as a threat, which I thought was interesting. And being active signals safety because you're kind of like moving, you're doing
Sure, like you would
things.
only go for
And
a
you're in
hike if you're
control.
feeling comfortable.
Right,
That
exactly.
makes sense.
And you're in control. So Harvard found that people in passive relaxation showed about 73% higher Monday cortisol than those who exercised. So the people that like stayed home and like think that they got a bunch of rest and like laid around all weekend actually end up with higher cortisol on Monday morning. Because
the Sunday scaries translate to Monday morning garbage.
Cortisol.
No.
I know, it's tough stuff.
Okay,
So this modern rest, collapsing on the couch, Netflix scrolling, that is actually very not good for us. And instead, we should be doing these ancient leisure activities that are engaging body and mind in challenge. So
I can clock it. I'm
Yeah.
down with that actually. That's a great plan.
active rest.
I should do that more for sure.
Yeah.
Instead of just watching Netflix or
Right.
whatever.
But you think I get it because it's like, yeah, I'm laying down. I'm just like casually engaging in something, but like that's actually more draining for your body and brain,
Oh my gosh.
which I thought was crazy.
That's actually really disappointing to hear. I love lying down.
Yeah,
but
you love a lie down.
we like to joke that my house is called Sam's Flop House. Every room is a place where I can flop.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, there's every couch or a bed or whatever. And like
Yeah.
always horizontal. Prefer to be horizontal. So
Hilarious.
ugh, bad news for me.
Okay, well, what is our last story? What is this?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Just when you thought ghosting, disappearing on someone,
Mhm.
was enough of a problem, a new trend has entered the chat.
Okay.
It's even worse. It's called ghostlighting.
Ghostlighting?
Yes, it's a toxic combo of ghosting and gaslighting.
Okay.
So ghostlighters drop all the communication only to reinitiate contact later as if nothing ever happened. And then like to top it all off, they'll try and gaslight that person that they were dating into believing that they never ghosted you in the first place.
It's unbelievable because this really happens all the time.
Oh my God, when I was dating, this happened to me regularly.
This is actually an epidemic in the streets. Ghostlighting is happening more and more, and we're not talking about it enough.
Yes.
And that's why we need to start talking about it. Ghostlighting is I guess what people, I feel like men have been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah, men invented this basically.
Yeah, and then
respect to men.
they
but-
like ghost you, and then like 3 months later, they're like, "How are you? What's going on?"
Oh my God. I once had a guy I'd been talking to tell me that he, quote, thought he reached out and couldn't believe that he didn't. Like after coming back, like a full year later, I saw him at like a thing.
No.
And I was like, what's up with that? And he was like, oh, I thought you didn't want to see me. Like, what? And I was like, no, you didn't reach out to me. This was years ago, obviously.
Wow, I
but
love that you confronted him. That's actually such baller energy.
I'm chaotic and I will confront you.
Crazy.
I was just like, what's wrong with you? And it was a guy I'd known for like a long time, you know?
Yeah,
So I was just like, excuse me.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
really
thoughts.
funny. I am like very like, I would just be like, what? No, conflict averse.
See, I would do that for a guy I didn't it didn't have that much history with, but
Yeah.
this was someone who I had like kind of grown up with. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's annoying.
I'm gonna fight you in a public space. Like,
Yeah,
I was
like,
pretty
you
mad.
literally like ghosted me and then came back. You were ghostlighting me.
Yeah, I was
The
like,
audacity.
actually wrong. And he was like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
I have
it
the
was like a
receipts.
ready set retreat situation with him too, because I like think he was not expecting me to be like, oh, let me pull it up the chat and you can take a look. He was like,
You did? You pulled it up?
I was like, oh, I can't find the text right now, but I'll find them and send them to you. He's like, please don't.
Save it, sister.
I know.
All
It's
good.
like so weird. I had a hard time dating. I don't know what that's about.
That is
Oh
so
my gosh.
funny.
Well, this is a chaotic week.
Chaotic.
Hope everybody's doing well, staying home,
Yeah.
staying safe.
And that's the thing. It's like there's so much going on in the world. Take a little time for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Take a bubble bath.
Time for yourself, but don't Netflix and doom scroll. Instead,
Right.
go outside, touch grass.
Do a puzzle. Oh my gosh. Go touch grass if you can. This weekend I went to the Palisades. Very sad to see all of the devastation there. But like to sit and like look at the ocean was like so healing. So we
gosh.
should be doing that if we can.
For sure.
Or get out
Awesome.
there. Just get out there.
Get out there, kids. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
We'll see
you.
you next week.
We
Bye.
love you. Bye.